Greetings from Salty Mitten Adventures. I'm Mackenzie, and this is Hannon. Join us on our year-long adventure as we cruise America's Great Loop on our Ranger Tug.
All right, we're on the Mississippi River. We got two locks today that we didn't understand that we had to navigate. They go basically, there's like a little diversion canal around St. Louis because there's an area that they call chain of rocks, which you don't go through. So there's locks on either side of that, and we'll go through that. Right now we're just fighting the sunlight a little bit, so we're taking our time. There's lots of weird things and channels and stuff that we're not used to. And then we're gonna go to Hoppies, so 58 miles today, and that's the last fuel stop before Paducah. So that's a 205-mile stretch. So that's it. So we're just gonna stay down here on the going slow till we can see a little better, and then we'll get through these locks.
Mississippi lock, and there's a lot of debris in the water. However, what's kind of neat is we're the only boat going through this. It's the Mel Price lock, and they're letting us float in the middle, which is pretty cool. So we're not actually tying up to anything. So we'll see how that works once they lower us down.
I think it's 22 feet of drop, but there was some big stuff in the water. Like there's like a piece of a dock back there. It's like something out of a horror movie. It's like the floating bollards, but they sound kind of eerie. We are at Hoppies. Hoppies is a known stop on the Great Loop. They help decrease the distance between fuel stops. So we're on you can see Salty Mittens tied up on the riverside of the Mississippi. And Hoppies is a barge. At some time it has had slips and other things, but currently it's a 100-foot barge with gas and diesel, and they typically allow one boat to stay here overnight. This is our buddy boat for the day, Evie. So they're on the back side. They're an outboard powered boat as well, so we're going to be able to run today with them at speed so that we can make max fuel efficiency. Decided we're gonna have a big day today. We're gonna go all 207 miles from Hoppies to Paducah. So that's all the way down the Mississippi River and then 50 miles up the Ohio River in order to make it to the next fuel stop. So the anchorages are available along the way, but there are very few of them. Not conducive for puppies, and just got great weather right now. There's no fog. We have a buddy to run with, which makes us feel a little more secure, and that's what we're gonna do. So we'll run on plane at max efficiency for most of the day. We'll step down a couple of times as well to just get really good fuel economy for a few miles to give ourselves a little bit better buffer. But got a good day. We had a tree log yesterday afternoon get wedged between the boat and the barge. I didn't get to show you that because it was a little chaotic, but we were able to use poles to get it off, but it was huge. So the name of the game today is to be alert. Make sure we don't hit anything floating in the river that could damage the boat or the prop. So Kenzie and I'll be focused all day. We met a gentleman, it's a couple who's on this little riverbank here, who are kayaking the Mississippi. So that's a seaward tandem kayak, of which we own the same boat, which was cool. And met Hutch. Him and his partner are pretty far into their journey, and he's been covering about 40 miles a day on the river, so pretty cool. That is all.
So we did 205 miles on the Mississippi River. So we went to Hoppies.
In a day.
In a day. Yeah.
Because there's more than that
Yeah.
overall.
Yeah, overall.
It's like 260.
Yeah, Grafton, I think, to Hoppies was like 58, 50 something miles. We get to Hoppies. Hoppies is that last fuel stop. And then we did 205 miles from Hoppies to Paducah.
Yeah.
How do you think that went?
Well, it's not something we had planned on doing, but we'd heard some folks, we had talked to some folks that were on displacement vessels, moving 7, 8 knots, that when they did it at this time last year, they only took 2 days to do it, because there are stops, but there's not a lot, and especially for puppies, it's not, particularly conducive. And honestly, it's a little unnerving anchoring out in the Mississippi. It's got a pretty substantial current. There are definitely places, they have these wing dams, and folks will pull in behind the wing dams made of rock, and it seems to be pretty settled in there. Mm-hmm. So there are places, but it's not like there's no like sights to see, or there's and getting off the boat I think is a little difficult. So we had a buddy boat that has outboards on it and can run on plane, that was with us at Hoppies, and we're like, hey, let's do it. We got the right. I think it felt
like a good decision. Like once we thought it through and realized our gas was going to be fine, we only had one lock, so it was right. It was towards the end of the day. It was, I don't want to call it a no-brainer. It was just more like, hey, let's just do this. We have to get through it no matter what, because that section's really just a section you get through. It's pretty enough. Like there's a lot of like sandbars off to the side, and there's some wildlife. Like the eagles have just been kind of nonstop since we left Chicago.
Yeah.
But in general, there are no towns outside of St. Louis, but St. Louis has no harbor that you can go to. So that's really the exciting part of the whole trip, is just the St. Louis part. But
yeah, and Hoppies was cool. We got to go to that little town in Hoppies, and then there's really nothing between Hoppies and Paducah. Cairo, Illinois, is the town that's on the corner on the where the Ohio and the Mississippi come together, but there's nowhere to get off the boat. There's it's very industrial, a lot of tows. Anyway, so we did it, and it was fine. It was fine. It was a long day because when we're running, so we run it between 30 and 32 on the Mississippi with the current. We were running at 37
miles per hour
for max fuel efficiency.
Yeah.
and we're both up and watching the entire time because there's logs, there's things in the water that can hurt you, and it required constant vigilance from both of us to make sure that we didn't hit anything. But it worked.
Yeah. So from that perspective, that's what made the day tiring. So we're standing up driving the boat. Hannon and I will do 20-mile rotations. So I'll drive for 20 miles, and he's right next to me though, in the passenger helm seat, watching for sticks too, sticks and logs. Sticks and logs. And then there is a lot of barge traffic too. So you have to slow down. You have to manage that. You have to manage other looper boats. You have to manage the logs. And we left at 7:15, I think, in the morning.
Had a good weather window.
Not a lot of fog, so that was great. We were able to kind of get going relatively quick. But that morning portion, we did start a little slower just to make breakfast and to get underway.
And we wanted a little bit of a fuel buffer too. So we spent the first hour at 1,200 RPMs, getting about 6 miles a gallon, just taking our time. And then we stepped down for lunch again for about 45 minutes. So we had those two little gaps. And by the time, so when we got to Paducah, we had 40 gallons remaining.
Yep.
150-gallon tank. So we had we
were fine.
We had there was no issues there whatsoever. In fact, we had enough fuel that we were able to go the next day from Paducah all the way to Green Turtle Bay, which is up the Cumberland River through a giant lock and into Lake Barkley. So it was another 40 miles. So we would have been able to run 260, something like that. I mean, so that was kind of neat to see. The math worked out for us. We were worried about when you get on the Ohio River, you're going up rivers. Folks had said you're going to lose a lot of efficiency. We didn't. We just lost fuel efficiency when we hit the Ohio River because you go upriver. We didn't lose that much, to be honest with you. We were still at like 1.6 miles a gallon on, instead of 37, we were going like 33, and then it stepped down to 30.
Yeah.
But it was fine. It was a longer day. It was fine. Now, when we got to the Paducah, has its city marina, but it's just a giant finger pier. They do have power there. You can make reservations there. We were unable to make reservations like 2 or 3 days in advance. It had booked up, but we were able to. So our buddy boat rafted onto a larger boat that they had coordinated with, and we actually just tied up to the fuel dock. Yep. And that was fine. Yep. Staying there overnight.
Yeah, and the fuel dock closed at 3 o'clock, and they don't actually have anyone who actively stays there and manages fuel. You have to call ahead to get fuel. So in general, probably not the right thing to do. However, it wasn't wrong.
I don't think it was wrong.
It wasn't wrong, right? Like no one was using the fuel dock, and it was protected, and there's cleats. So I felt safer there than tying up to another boat,
I think it was fine.
Yeah.
There's no issues. Yeah. Walked in town, had a good meal. So hanging out with our friends.
Yeah. And then that next morning, we did our run to Green Turtle Bay Resort. And the main reason that we went there is so that we could have our outboard engine serviced for its 200-hour service, which is just another 100-hour service, essentially. But you have to pull the boat from the water. So it went on the travel lift, and in general, that was a very positive experience.
Yeah.
I have no complaints.
Yep. So, pricing-wise, you're a little uncertain as to how that worked. This is our third 100-hour service we have to do. You do one right when you get the boat at 20 hours.
Yeah.
Then there's one at 100 and one at 200. So this is the third service we've had done. They've varied in prices. This was the cheapest one. This is $450.
Yep. And when we got charged a off-site fee for that also. So, if we would have gone to a marina that was co-located with a service department that would do Yamaha engines, it probably would have been cheaper.
Yeah, I think
but
so.
In general, it was still the cheapest.
It was fine. And then the travel lift experience was there was really
no complaint. I mean,
it was anticlimactic, I guess I would say.
You pull up to a dock that runs parallel with the travel lift. So you tie your boat off, you walk up the little ramp, and then four guys who work at the marina walk down with their dock poles, and they untie your boat and they get rid of the rope, and they use the dock poles and just inch it forward, very slowly, but kind of, it wasn't like super slow. They move it efficiently onto the straps, and then the straps. And then the straps, well, really they're slings. These, you know, your boat's going to have little sling labels on the sides, on the starboard and port side, and that's for if it has to be pulled out of the water with a travel lift. So they put the slings underneath it, and then the guy starts the travel lift and lifts it out of the water. No issues.
Service took about 2 hours. We scrubbed the hull of the boat and actually the sides of the boat all the way up, which is nice because it got dirty on the river.
Yeah, it had like algae growth.
Yeah, and then Mackenzie ran and got some groceries with the golf cart that we had rented for real cheap, and I finished up there. The travel lift itself cost $9 a foot.
Yep.
So it was, after tax, it was $260 for that. So that's expense. That's an expense, right?
Yeah, and there was a 3% credit card surcharge, which you just can't really get away from in general.
Cash.
Yeah. So that's another thing. You know, if you're carrying cash, that's a good way to, you know, not have to pay an additional 3%, because on a large purchase, you know, that does add up. And this was one of those situations where this was not an LOA of 30 feet. This is, our hull is 27 feet. And then we have an additional 3 feet with the swim platform and the engine. So we felt comfortable saying our boat is 27 feet in length.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's good. You know, tipping wise, pretty customary to, you know, you have your boat, it comes into a marina to slip, somebody's dockhands helping, you know, you tie up. You traditionally tip. It kind of depends on the service that you're getting. You know, we've gotten into a rhythm of, you know, if they're by themselves, we give a 5. You know, if they're by themselves and they're doing a bunch of stuff, that might be 10. Or if there's 2 of them, we try to split it up different. We tipped the guys that helped us with the travel list, you know, $5 each, and they seemed kind of surprised. I'm not sure that's a service that a lot of folks tip for, but they were super happy, and I was happy that they didn't drop our boat while it was on the travel lift.
Yeah. And
they did a great job. So, you know, I think that was fine. So yeah, overall, you know, got to do it. You got to pay to play. This is our you know, our pay to play as outboard engine owners on the loop, and it was executed well.
Yeah, and we're reset.
Reset.
Right? So we started the loop with, you know, 50 engine hours towards our 100-hour engine.
Yeah. Yeah,
40,
that's
40
right.
to 50.
Yeah, we have used 60 engine hours since we started from Manistee, Michigan. 60 engine hours, 900 miles. Yep. That's what it's looked like so far. It might look a little different because I do think there's sections that will go slower as we move down the river system. So, you know, it may be fewer miles and more engine hours, but in general, that's where we're at on the trip.
So it's nice to have an official reset before we have to do another service.
Yeah.
And the next service is going to be the big service. The big service is at 300 engine hours, where we have to do some replacement parts just to make sure the longevity of the engine remains intact.
Spark plugs, water pump, impeller.
Yeah.
I think those are the big things. So, yeah.
All right. Other than that, I don't have anything else.
We're anchored out in Kentucky Lake.
Yeah.
Mackenzie's already caught a striped bass from the boat. We're gonna do a little running and hiking and paddle boarding around here. It's nice. It's very nice to anchor out. We've done a lot of marina time, which is cool. But
it's hot, but the sun's about to go over the tree line, so we're excited about that.
Yeah.
We might be getting washed out right now too.
Anchoring out's okay. We and we cooked the spaghetti and meatballs on the crock pot on the way over here. So low work day.
Yep. Good day.
Yeah.
Good day all in all. All right, until next time. Thank you.